Thank you. We're back again to start fresh. We're opening the first page to begin Bereshis, and I certainly want to learn the first psukim, the first few psukim with the Chevra. I want to share something, a gift, that I feel I was zeicha to a gift on Shmini Atzeres. Thoughts are funny, that thoughts are a gift from Hashem. Thoughts, if you think about thoughts, that will make you dizzy, but thoughts are a gift from Hashem. Sometimes you set in motion a pattern of thoughts with a kasha, a teretz, and you start a pattern of thoughts. I was during Shemona Esrei, and Hashem gave me a Shmini Atzeres thought that moved me, and I want to share it with you. I feel that transitioning. We were zeicha, many of us as a chevra was zeicha Yom Kippur to daven together. Then the days of Sukkot, the elevated days, to sing Hallel together, to shake the Daled Minim together. Hoshana Rabbah, to call out Hoshana to Hashem, to walk around this bima here many times. Beautiful davening where Yankov Metz led, culminating in a Shmini Atzeres, a Simchas Torah that was otherworldly, literally otherworldly. So it's definitely now we start the fall, the winter days, and we're walking away from beautiful, elevated season. I want to share something that maybe can give, it's been mechazik me, it's already in the 2 short days since the Chag. I feel like it's still with me, this vart. I want to share with you, Yisrael. Shmini Atzeres, a gift that we just had, a day celebrating the 21 previous days. It's well known, the words of the Sfas Emes, Ach Sameach. The Gemara says, Ach Sameach is Shmini Atzeres, and Ach is Chaf Aleph. And it represents what the Marshan B'chayr Stav Ches calls the Chaf Aleph Yemei Alibun, the 21 days of purity from Rosh Hashanah through Hoshana Rabbah. After those 21 days, Sameach, we have Simcha. We learned together on Yantiv the words of the Gra. Oiz is Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur Hashem Oiz La'ama Yitay. We got Luchai Shniyos. V'hadar, beauty. It's v'lakachtem lachem priyetz hadar sukkos. Oiz v'hadar levusha. Klal Yisrael gets Yom Kippur and gets sukkos. And then Batischach l'Yom Achron. They explode the Yom Achron, Shmini Atzeres. The last day of the whole Chag's Batischach. Tremendous happiness and laughter, the Gra says. Shmini Atzeres. So Shmini Atzeres celebrates the joy of the Chaf Aleph Yom. The Lashon Acher Nagilav in Nismecha. We have a tremendous joy, Bach, Chaf Beis, on the 22nd days. After the 21 days of Libun, day number 22, tremendous joy. So, Shmini Atzeres celebrates the joy of purity. And during Shemona Esrei, I'm davening Shemona Esrei, and all of a sudden a thought pops in my mind. Let's say somebody was in a coma and woke up, Shmini Atzeres. It's just wait for next year. You're not shaykh to Shmini Atzeres. The joy, you didn't have Rosh Hashanah, not Hoshana Rabbah, you didn't shake the lulavs, you didn't have the Chafal, so no Shmini Atzeres. Somebody's Megayer, Erev Shmini Atzeres, so you wait next year, Shmini Atzeres, the Simcha of the 21 days. What about somebody who blew the 21 days? So what does Shmini Atzeres say to them? There's a Chag called Shmini Atzeres. Does it talk to one who didn't have the 21 days? Does it say anything? It's the celebration of the great purification. Did the person, there's a Tanai, Yom Kippur, certainly, Itzume Shal Yom is Mechaper, but we paskin l'shavim. Let's say a guy wasn't shavim. No Shmini Atzeres? It says a little asterisk next to the Chag. Art scroll, somebody should tell them to add it. Asterisk. If not, That's a tough thought. The celebration of the 21 days. It was during Shemana Esrei. I had this question. And something occurred to me that in 2 days since Yom Tov, it stayed with me. I was zeicher to do yesterday to do 6.5 hours of interviews to Yeshiva. That's what, there was a lot of interviews, many interviews. Rabbi Brownstein set up back to back. And I saw each guy different because of this thought during Shemana Esrei. I promise, in a practical way, I looked at a guy different. Every single guy in the room to me right now, every single friend, Yisrael, you look different because of this thought. Right now, I'm looking at you, Reb Chaim, different because of this thought, this minute. I don't know how long it will last, but I want to share this with you. And what I want to say, I asked my Rebbe, I called my Rebbe to ask him if I have a right to say it, and he didn't just agree, he supported it with further ideas. And this came during Shemana Esrei like a gift from Hashem, a gift from God. And what I chapped is, we're a chevra, we all like learning Musar, we like working on ourselves. We're Yidden, you don't have to be a Baal Musar, we're human beings. We want to work on ourselves to be more godly, to improve, to fix up. Deeper than past all our fixing ups. Who are we? Who are we? We're a neshama that came down, that's royal, that's precious, that's fire, that's holy, that's powerful. That's who we are. Past all the fixing up, after all the Chaf Aleph Yom, is the day of Ach Sameach, you and I. Ikvi imi Yom Echad, Klal Yisrael, Shaychus with me. There are no mitzvahs Shmini Atzeres. It's a place of our existence, Ani v'ata asan Hashem. That place exists if you literally were in a coma for 21 days. It's a truth. Admittedly, if work was not done on the 21 days, it will be harder to access that place. We have built walls. We have built all different attitudes and all different blockages between us and that reality. But there's a reality of who we are, this soul, this fiery soul, this unique and fiery soul. That's a reality of who we are, of what we're about, this fire, this beautiful, lofty being, this tremendous being. That's a reality of Elokai Neshama Shenasata B'Torah. Shmini Atzeres is true no matter what you did for 21 days. Of course, there's a process to access, to come to that place of Anivata, to feel and to experience it, so the more we've done the work on the 21 days, the more we'll experience the simcha of Shmini Atzeres. What Shmini Atzeres is speaks to a guy who wakes up from a coma on Shmini Atzeres. It talks and says something to the human being, no matter what he's done for 21 days. It has a message that can literally, eternally change his life. How much he can access it and experience it, of course, the days before of purification, of those things that are mavdil between us, those walls, those external things, that dirtiness that has gotten on. And the washing it off allows the Shmini Atzeres to shine, to experience it in its fullness. But it's a truth, no matter what happened before.
But
so much
before, what's it worth? Because if you can't,
it's worth tremendous amounts. It alone, a Shmini Atzeres alone, has the power to transform a person. If a person wasn't changed, great people have written that they've seen people change more from Simchas Torah than all the days before. And there's a reason. Shmini Atzeres contains in it a power, the sense of who I am, that runs deep in a person, that alone, that Shmini Atzeres has a powerful ability to transform a person. That alone, that pure fact of the beauty and the specialness be'etzem b'mahusa yid is Shmini Atzeres. Ani va'ata ikvi imi yom echad. I want you. You're shaykh to me. You're miyuchid to me. You and I, a yichud with Hashem, is a massively powerful experience. That yediyah. Our chinuch would change, our entire approach, if we looked at a person like that. There's work to be done for us all. But if we approach, you never have to breathe ruchnius into somebody. You never have to put a soul in a person. There's ein davar kazeh. The person is a fiery soul. To access it, to allow them to flourish in an environment that brings that out. There's a soul that's there, a precious, powerful, sincere, fiery neshama that's there, very stark. You don't got to breathe ruchnius. Of course, you would almost be much more to spend time understanding it and admiring it and helping it come out in its beautiful way. But that it is that, a precious soul. We are precious neshamas with a mission that let it do its job. Unleash yourself to what you're supposed to be, to what we are. That aspect is Shmini Atzeres. And I wanted to share that with the Chevra. I think that matters a lot. I don't think it limits work and Averis HaMavdil on this work. It's the beautiful part of our lives. Even to live with that is a responsibility, and it gives opportunity, each one of us, to bring out, to let the Kiddush Shamayim that we are, that we could be, that our essence is, to allow it to flourish in its unique station, in its unique way. I wanted to share that Shmini Atzeres thought. I think we could bring that forward in powerful ways into our own lives, in the areas and the places that we can affect and impact. I think how we see others and how we see other people, just how we look at them and who they are and what they are, can affect a lot. So I wanted to share this thought. When we start Sefer Bereshis, anybody who starts Sefer Bereshis, I literally picked it up on Yom Tov and started Bereshis. And you notice something that's wild. I don't know. I challenge anybody here with computers, you can check. Do you know 12 psukim in a row that say Hashem's name like this? Bereshis bara Elokim, pasuk 1. Pasuk 2, V'ruach Elokim, rachefes al mayim. Pasuk 3, Vayomer Elokim. Pasuk 4, Vayar Elokim. Pasuk 5, Vayikra Elokim. Pasuk 6, Vayomer Elokim. Pasuk 7, Vayas Elokim. Pasuk 8, Vayikra Elokim. You guessed it. Pasuk 9, Vayomer Elokim. Pasuk 10, Vayikra Elokim. Pasuk 11, Vayomer Elokim. Pasuk 12, Vayar Elokim. 12 psukim in a row. The first 12 psukim, Elokim, 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 Elokim. It's Elokim Midas Adin. That was the Machshava Rishayna Livrei Sel Midas Elokim. 12 psukim in a row. Then takes the first break. Vayer Vayvayke Yom Shlishi. Doesn't say Hashem's name. And then back again. Vayomer Elokim in the 14th pasuk. You have 13 out of 14 psukim. That is Elokim. And I want to suggest something as follows, fascinating. I don't think that's typical in the Torah, over and over, and each pasuk, Hashem's name, repeated, and in the way of writing it, it would easily just say, many of the places, it says, Vayar Elokim ki tov, Vayomer, you don't need to repeat again, Vayomer Elokim. You say, Vayar Elokim ki tov, Hashem saw that it is good. Vayomer Tajir, and he said, the subject has long been declared. Yet it says Vayomer Elokim. So they're extra psukim. It doesn't need to say Hashem said. We know who the subject. There's only one subject doing all the creating here. Vayomer, and he said, who's he? The one we're talking about. The same one who saw in the pasuk before, who called 2 psukim ago, who said 3 psukim ago, who called 4 psukim ago, who made 5 psukim ago. And yet each time, Vayas Elokim, Vayikra Elokim, Vayomer Elokim. What's happening here? Repeating and repeating Hashem, 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 and Hashem. We've discussed here, and I want to talk about this for a few minutes now. We've discussed that there's a world of angels. And the world of angels is remarkably existent in our lives. Every Shabbos Kodesh, we come home, and on this awesome day of us, the loyalists to Hashem, announcing and living that Hashem is the Creator, from the first things we do upon entering home is we say, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashores. We greet the angels. What's our fascination with angels? Let's say one of your kids says, Dad, do you really believe in angels? Are you like mad at him? Let's say, what's our fascination with the world of angels? Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasholem. The Rambam in Moreh Nevuchim says the purpose of the Kruvim in the Kodesh Kadashim, we have Kruvim. The Rambam says is to affirm our belief in angels. It's like this big in the Kodesh Kadashim. You need to establish our belief in angels. Let's say you meet somebody who says, "I'm not so into the angels thing." Are you very whoa, heresy? He believes in Hashem. He believes in our servant angels. He's not. Angels take such a place. It's interesting in the Yamin Noraim. So there are places that don't say Machnise Rachmim. In our shul, we say that beautiful prayer. We even sing it. We sing the first night Machnise Rachamim. We ask the prayers. Hichnisu Rachamenu. Please, angels who we know exist, go bring our supplications to Hashem. What's our fascination with this world of angels? And what I just want to suggest, before a human being came along, there was Hashem. And it's evident every Bria, the whole Bria bespoke of Hashem. Shamayim misaprim kvoid kel. Everything acknowledges and just lives as Hashem. There's no other choice. That's the world. That's a world of truth. That's all Lifnei Hashem. And there comes one creation, the most fascinating creation, and it changes everything. The first psukim in the Torah before the creation of man, Hashem, 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 12 psukim in a row. That's what was evident. That's what there was. That's what there is. That's everything. And then there comes the rest of the Torah. Man is created. There's a change. All of a sudden, of course, everything's Hashem. Everything's Hashem. Einoid Mulvadai. But there comes the possibility of a creation that can deny the truth. It has the possibility of living in a darkness. It has the possibility of saying, I don't know. There's one creation that has what's called Bechira. It could live Sheker or it could choose Emes. It could live life or not, or death. You have a creation that has a possibility not to live life. Not to be Davik Bashem. To not choose life. You have the first creation that could actually decide, are they Mamlech Hashem Rosh Hashanah? Do we live with loyalty? Do we have Aseres Yimei Tshuva and Yom Kippur? You have the first creation that actually has a question and has choices and decisions to make. If this barrier called Adam, if he wants to live with truth, if he wants to acknowledge and see and appreciate the truth. And that's our avoid and our possibility and our opportunity to, with our own choice, to announce that Hashem's the creator of the world. What before we came along was what there was. Every pasuk, Elikim, 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 Elikim. Now all of a sudden there's the creation of man, where there's the possibility and the human being's task to acknowledge and to acknowledge the world of angels. The world of angels that's important is that the ruchnius that we can deny. We can sit in a shul, a guy can talk in shul, he's living a lie. A guy's a liar, talks in shul. He's not breaking a law, he also broke a law. You're not allowed to talk by davening. But he's also just living sheker, as if like Hashem's not here. You're lifnei Hashem. There's a bechina that's like true that you're ignoring. And it's true the human being has the capacity to talk in shul. It's true. Because he could just, I don't know. That's the human being. If you want to live sheker, the human being could live sheker. The human being can be Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is a day l'fnei Hashem. The human being, if he wants, can ignore reality. There's a reality of Yom Kippur. It's l'fnei Hashem. I have seen, any friend I speak to, we're all in shul all day Yom Kippur, and we certainly have tough moments. We have different moments and times different of us. Some people are good at being focused. I had a very difficult time early. I wasn't feeling so well. And then later in the day, I had certain moments of clarity, of honesty, of being very present. And people describe very precious moments, Yom Kippur. That's because of a reality that it's l'fnei Hashem. It's a truth. Now, a human being can ignore reality, can be in the Kodesh Kadashim and do it a human being, we're created that we can ignore reality. And the opportunity of this nivra of human being is to v'charta b'chaim, to choose life, to choose to see that which is true, to choose to acknowledge and experience that which is true. A Bachar described to me his Yom Kippur. A guy who for months we were talking about emunah questions. I was like wondering what could be done, what could be done to strengthen him. He described Yom Kippur. He described Yom Kippur coming into shul very, very late, coming extremely late, looking around. There are people who are having a Yom Kippur, and he got up to the Hashamnus. When he got up to the Hashamnus, so he's about to start Hashem, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Couldn't bang. Shamni couldn't do it. He started thinking, why can't I, what's wrong with you? Just bang, clap. He started thinking and he burst out crying. He said, I'm angry at Hashem. I'm coming to apologize. I'm angry. And for 1 hour he was crying and expressing tremendous hurt that he has. He said, I know you hide Hashem, but I feel you hide from me more. I don't think it's a level why you're running from me. I think I understand that there's hiding, human being discovers, but I think it's not a level playing field. He started being very upset. After an hour of crying and expressing, he said, you know what? But I also push you away. And he said, Hashamnus, he apologized. He had a rest of Yom Kippur, a Dahay ben Yom Kippur. What was he zeicher? Because l'fnei Hashem, because it's a mitzius. Why was he zeicher to such a conversation, to such a hargasha, to such an understanding, to such a conversation with Hashem? Because it's a begeder of l'fnei Hashem. On a day of l'fnei Hashem, a person experiences Hashem more. He's in the Kodesh Kadashim. You experience Hashem more. And that's Yom Kippur, a mitzios, the sukkah. The sukkah is a mitzios. The sukkah is not just like some command. A sukkah is a mitzios. The Svasemes, Bechinas, it has Ha'aras of the Beis HaMikdash. It's a mitzios of being in the presence of Hashem. A mitzios. That's changing, that's life-changing. To be in the sukkah is an experience that's life-changing. To be in the sukkah, a person could deny it, a person could say, I don't see it, okay. That's our capacity, to deny, to not see, to not experience. The opportunity of Torah is to find out the truths of life. The opportunity of a Yid is to be taught the truths, to experience it, to feel it, to live it. That's the opportunity of a Yid, and a Yid who knows Torah, who's taught the realities. I remember when we used to live in Waterbury, walking to shul on Rosh Hashanah. Today, living in Blue Ridge, so if I walk Rosh Hashanah the years I've been here, I don't pass cars driving. In Durham, I go to shul, no cars driving. When I lived on the other side of town, I passed by cars driving. I remember thinking how fortunate that we're exposed to the truth. The guy is judged also, he just doesn't know. He has no response. He's driving, driving his car. A gate. He has no knowledge of a truth, and that's the human capacity. To live in complete blindness to a truth. He's not in any way responding the response of somebody being judged. He doesn't even know. He hasn't even been told. We're fortunate through a Torah, through Hashem's Dvar Hashem, the truths that are completely true. We're told about them and have the capacity to experience them and to live the truths that are there. The fact that we have a developed world of angels, I think, is very important. This ruchniistic world that we're striving to acknowledge, to be in touch with, to live our lives based on a truth that's there, whenever you get there, there's an angel that lives there. That world exists, and there's an angel to him. It's like it is the only world he sees and knows about. There's a developed world of angels. They live there. They see it. They live it. They experience it. It's only to the human being who has this struggle, am I going to acknowledge that world? We have the capacity of running away from that world, of denying that world, of making like it ain't so, of just being completely out of sync with that world. That's the possibility of a human being. And with our choice, we're coming from days that we had tremendous opportunity, a tremendous days that were masugel to experience it. Literally like somebody being in the Beis HaMikdash, when they have the chance, Lifnei Hashem, where it's much masham navadcha b'yira. There it's like easy to live it, it's easy to feel it, to experience 10 nisim every day in the Beis HaMikdash. It was a place like Mesogel. You went in there, you felt Hashem, you experienced Hashem. Then the pasuk, I said over Yantiv, I expressed the verse from the Panovich Rav. The Panovich Rav said amazingly, he said about this Yosef Meshisa. The Medrash says about this Yid, there was a Yid, Yosef Meshisa, he was a Rasha. And Yosef Meshisa, this Rasha, the Goyim said that whoever goes into the Beis HaMikdash, they wanted to get Yidden to sin. So they said whoever goes into the Beis HaMikdash and takes a keli out of the Beis HaMikdash, you can keep it. This way the Yidden will be myrid. The Yidden will be myrid. They wanted the Yid, the Goyim always want the Yid to denounce Yiddishkeit. In the book To Vanquish a Dragon, a book I read as a youngster, To Vanquish a Dragon, it says that the Nazis, Yamach Shemam, said, it writes the story in the book, To Vanquish a Dragon. True stories, a beautiful book. And he writes that the Nazi, Yamach Shemam, said to a Yid, pick up that Torah. And the Yid picked it up. He was a matter. How from was the Yid's debatable. A Yid, he was the barber. He was a Yid in town. The Nazi Mashmam said, "Pick up the Torah." He picked it up. The Nazi said, "Now throw it on the floor." He held his gun at him. Said, "Throw it on the floor and spit on it." And the Yid just started dancing like it was Simchas Torah with the Torah. He was nifty. He was shot. In front of B'fnei Am V'Eda, he held the Torah. They described he was like twirling with the Torah. He started dancing. So the guy always wants the Yid to desecrate that which is holy, that which is precious. And the Goyim said, enter the Beis HaMikdash, you'll keep whatever keli you want. So this Yosef Meshisa was no tzaddik, goes into the Beis HaMikdash and runs out with the menorah. The Romans said, give us the menorah. You promised it to me. They said, you're way too low to have such a lofty keli. And they took the menorah from the Yid. The Goyim said, okay, go back, we'll let you take a different keli. He's like, Daili shechasti l'boyri pamachas. I angered my Creator once, I'm not going in again. They said, Yid, go in. I'm not going to anger my God. I'm not being married. They said, we'll give you the taxes of the whole Jewish state for 1 year. We'll hand you the taxes. No. 2 years, 3 years of the taxes. No. And they killed him. Yid Yosef Meshisa was nifter al Kiddush Shamayim. Asked the Panovich Rav, what changed? A minute ago he's willing to run in and run out with the menorah. Now he gives up his life. He's nifter al Kiddush Hashem, not to be mevayish, not to desecrate a keli. What happened? Said the Panovich Rav, he walked into the Beis HaMikdash. He went in to steal. He went in to do an aveira. But he went in, it changed him. He came out, he was a different man. He was in Rima, he was in the Beis HaMikdash. Such is the power of the Mikdash. And we're coming from days of holiness, of Kodesh, Yom Kippur that it says on there, Lifnei Hashem. It's Bechinas Lifnei Hashem. A sukkah, which is Kedushas Eretz Yisrael. A sukkah, which is Shem Shemayim, Schal on the sukkah. So we're coming from holy places. And our task for us all, for us human beings, as we travel away and we return to our lives, each of us to our stations, each of us to our jobs, each of us to the life to the life of winter that we leave with all its storms and all its difficulties. All our challenges is at that place to live with the realities that we've experienced, to bring the experience. I picture the Yid who's headed back now to Yemei HaChol. Perhaps even, it says, how beautiful are your footsteps, you child of Avram Avinu biman alayim, in your shoes. And it speaks about being Oila Regel, but it says how beautiful are your footsteps in your shoes. And in your shoes is interesting, because when we're Oila Regel and we get to the Har HaBayis, we don't wear shoes. But perhaps it refers to afterwards, when your shoes are back on. You've taken off your shoes. How beautiful are your footsteps afterwards. The lessons you learned when you were in the Makom HaKodesh. How beautiful are your footsteps afterwards. You bring what? And you live a life where you acknowledge Hashem's the Creator, and your life is an acknowledgement there by our behaviors, by our ehrlichkeit, by all the activities that we do. They're done in a beautiful and refined, in the manner of somebody who's had the experiences we've had. That's the charge for all of us as we exit from Lifnei Hashem. It says, the pasuk says, Shesulim b'veis Hashem, those that plant roots in the house of Hashem, even when they're in the Chatzar of Hashem, Yafrichu, they spread out. The Shesulim b'veis Hashem is all of us entered Lifnei Hashem of Yom Kippur. And the subsequent, in the Sukkah of Hashem, the Shesulim b'veis Hashem, those that put roots, that put strong roots there in those beautiful days of Lifnei Hashem, even when they're b'chatzis Elokeinu. We're now b'chatzis Hashem, we're now moving forward from there, but still coming from that experience, still energized and changed from that experience. Our eyes are open. Our eyes have seen. From that place, in the Chatzar of Hashem, they'll spread out. I wanted to close. To some, I apologize. To some, we're chazering Yantif. At the Ne'ilas HaChag, I shared a story with Rabbi Yisrael Salanter with the Chevra, some that were here, but many of the friends weren't there. I want to share the story with Rabbi Yisrael Salanter. In our shul, we had this experience. I felt like the experience of Rabbi Yisrael's happened in this very room that was studying Torah in, and I want to share this with us as we walk forward from the experiences. All of us going through, Gavriel, any of us sitting at that Simchas Torah, you don't just walk away. It brought us places, a hallel that brought us places. So I wanna share something as follows. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter was dancing with his Talmidim, a very dahaib in a Simchas Torah. It was a magical Simchas Torah. They're dancing and singing, and in the middle, Rabbi Yisrael's not there. He no longer is there. They don't know where Rabbi Yisrael is. One of the Talmidim find him somewhere, he's crying. He has a Talmud Chaver who says to Rabbi Yisrael, Rebbe, it's Simchas Torah, Shmini Atzeres, the vein, you don't cry, Ach Sameach, what's happening? And he said, in living and thinking about closeness to Hashem, Ikvi imi yom echad, I became aware of some distances between me and Hashem. I became aware, and for that I cry. And he explained it to the Talmud Chaver. He started crying. The Talmud Chaver explained it to the Talmidim, and they all started crying. And the whole place is crying. Aware of parts of them that aren't Shmini Atzeres, parts that they're not. And they all start crying. Rabbi Yisrael claps and ends the crying. He says, Rabbi say, we're all crying and in pain for what we don't have. On that alone, the chukka, the desire for it, on that alone, we should make another Simchas Torah. And they burst out dancing and singing Kibir Shaina like the first time on the chukka to get it back, the fact that we want it, the fact that we're sad we don't have it. We can make a Simchas Torah on that. I was Zoich on Simchas Torah to hand out the Torah. To hand out the Torah, and it was beautiful to see Yidden's desire for the Sefer Torah. I was Zoich to take it, to see people's reluctance. How many people said, I'm like, oh, I got to get to the next one. It was beautiful, a Yid's excitement to hold the Torah, a Yid's want. You hand somebody the Torah, people just thank you, like so appreciative, people not wanting to part from it. You had it already the last, a Bacher was a little bit tipsy, geschmacka, somebody else, I want the Torah, it's not fair. I'm like, you had it the last 2 okay? So I knew I only had 4 Torahs, not 5 to give it out. He had it for 2 akafas. Go grab a Torah from a Yid. So I saw people who wanted the Torah, wanted to dance with the Torah. One particular person, I started to pass the Torah to him, and he said, like this, his hands, and 2 tears rolled down his face. Not he was emotional, 2 tears, I watched them fall. Rolled down his face, they said no. I whispered to him and feel this way, that his shame, I feel bad. There's what to work on, that he should understand Shmini Atzeres. But his kavod Torah is respect for Torah. I'm not worthy, I told him your reluctance to hold the Torah, your honesty, your realness, your living the Torah is precious. Am I really worthy? Is why you're going to spend a lifetime holding the Torah. And he whispered back, I know. So he said back, I know. I saw in that Rabbi Yisrael Salanter's Simchas Torah, and that is worthy of. And I say to us all, as we move forward from these precious days of clarity, a beautiful of simcha, the sitting in our sukkahs, the clarity that brings, we're in Hashem's hands. I was sitting with somebody who had been through things recently, difficult things, and saw him sitting in the sukkah getting emunah. I'm in Hashem's hands, he's taking me places. I saw him presently, he was surrounded by Danani Akabit, gaining chizuk, singing songs of emunah, and feeling very, very practically and presently that we're in Hashem's taking me. I'm in good hands. I saw Yid Mamish strengthening himself in the sukkah. And I say to us going forward, we'll leave, our sukkahs are taken down. If you haven't taken it down, take it down. It's no longer a mitzvah. And we take down our sukkahs. We take down that on Tisha B'Av we contrast B'tzeisim Yerushalayim and B'tzeisim Mitzrayim. And here you sing Geshmak, and here you sing sadly. If anybody wants the contrast of building your sukkah and taking down the sukkah, the excitement, the energy of building the sukkah, the taking down the sukkah does not have glory to it. You're taking down the sukkah, this B'tzeisim Yerushalayim. And in this period of taking down the sukkah, in this period of moving on, I want to say that we'll have 2 possibilities. We will have weeks and months, Be'ezer Hashem, we will live with the experience. Will be nicker on us, the people who had that Yom Kippur, who had that Sukkot, who had that Hallel on Shmini Atzeres, that Hallel, will be people who live with that at some times. And at other times, we'll have a tear or 2 streak down. We'll have moments of sensing, I'm not there and I want to be there. That also, and that is worthy of a Simchas Torah as well. Those are the 2 possibilities of our days. So I say, let's move forward. Let's, as much as we can, with as much energy as we can, bring forward. Let's live that Hallel. Let's live that experience of the sukkah, the times and the ability that we can with our Limudat Torah, with our. It's interesting. Rav Aryeh Weiss asked Rabbi Shamayim Morgenstern in Eretz Yisrael. He asked him, "I'm leaving the sukkah. Give me something. How do you hold on?" So he said, in every Masechta, the first words are put in a box. And he said, the box is the sukkah, and he said, the sukkah is Limudat Torah. That's what he told him. He said, the first word in every Masechta is in a box, and that's the old Shas Marin. He said, that's the sukkah, is Limudat Torah. But L'maisa, we should all be zeicha to bring all the clarity the simcha, the emunah that we acquired with us into our lives, and have many, many, many weeks and months living with that clarity. And even when we have those moments where we feel like saying, I can't, the simcha, the joy of knowing that we have a place we want to get to, that we have something that's valuable and meaningful, and we shed a tear over that. So that's also worthy of a simchas Torah, and that's the chizuk I say going forward. All of us should be zoich as a chabura. We'll start Be'ezei Hashem from Bereshis. Be'ezei Hashem will learn the parashas and live the parashas. We're zoich coming up already in the second parasha. Already Avram Avinu at the onset, already early in the Torah, is introduced to us. And these parashas HaTorah that we're zoich to learn and study the beginning of the Torah. I do want to say, I don't want to just not say anything on Bereshis. So we're talking Shmini Atzeres. I wanted to. You won't be happy, Rezi. It's going to be Hasidish, but I want to share a very Hasidic thought, on our jobs of seeing Hashem, of living Shemayim Dik. So I want to say one vert that the Rebbe taught at the beginning of a Bereshis. And the Rebbe said that Rashi brings that we start Sefer Bereshis. So Rashi brings that Koyach Maisav Higid La'ama. He says, Rashi, the Goyim are going to say about the Yidden, listen at them, you're thieves. You take Eretz Yisrael from us, you're thieves. And we say Hashem created the world and He gave it to who He wants to give it. The Rebbe taught that Eretz Yisrael is the bechina of making things holy, of using them for the right reasons, of living a life of loyalty to Hashem and being Mekadosh. Now, all divrei rishus in the world is given to us to make holy. We have a piece of meat, we eat on Shabbos Kodesh, holy. Kodesh. We have all different, we have a beged, we wear big day Shabbos, holy. So all physical divrei rishus, we have the opportunity to make them holy. So where do the Goyim say listamatem? He said that the Goyim say listamatem after tshuva. Tshuva, he said, a davar iser, that is not in our rishus. We can never make the isurim holy, he said, except when you do tshuva meyava. So then zidonius nasan zchuyos. So that you took something, davar iser is not yours, Klal Yisrael. And you even make that holy. He said, on that they say listamatem, you're ganofim. You took a davar that's aser, that's not in your rishus, and you even turn that into Eretz Yisrael, you even turn that into Kodesh, listamatem. That's how we connected the end of the Torah, Shviras Haluches, that allows for the Baal Tshuva, like Chazal tell us, that Klal Yisrael did the Egel, to give room and to teach people the derech of Tshuva. So he says, that's the Goyim on that, say, list them, and the answer is Hashem made everything. Even things that seem far and distant, even that was created to ultimately turn that into Kodesh. Hashem created everything, and everything wants us to turn it into Bechinas Eretz Yisrael, the land that lives with Einei Hashem Lekecha Tamid Ba, a land that lives begoli with Hashem. So Yehi Ratzon should be as well, all of us should be Zeich in our own journeys, bring holiness there. We were zeichet like to be in the sukkah. Now let's, as we return to our houses, as we return to all our stations, let's bring the kedusha, let's bring the holiness that we were zeichet to touch. I think about all the Yidden. Right now, the Yidden were walking back. They were on their journeys. People came up to 3 days travel. So there were people like the furthest Yidden were like, by tomorrow morning we'll return home. And they were thinking about, on their way, as they were making these journeys back home, they were, of course, thinking about the experience and committing, like we're committing today, to bring all the valuable lessons of faith that Hashem runs the world, Hashem's guiding us and leading us, bring that into our day-to-day lives.